Guys, if you like Dragon Ball Hakai, today is the best day for you to subscribe to our Patreon. We started publishing about 3 pages a day of the next chapter of Dragon Ball Hakai. In addition, you will also have access to several other stories created by our team, including Dragon Ball Shinken. By collaborating with our Patreon, you help us keep Dragon Ball Hakai alive and have a lot of benefits. Become a member of our community too. The link is in the video description and in the pinned comment. I'm waiting for you there.
Currently, when it comes to maximum power, without a doubt, the most powerful being in Dragon Ball Super that we know of is Zeno. Zeno is said to be the absolute god, the supreme being of all 12 universes, capable of, whenever he wishes, erasing from existence anything that exists. But the truth is, not even Zeno is perfect, and this being portrayed as the absolute god actually hides many weaknesses, which have even been officially revealed. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the major weaknesses of the almighty Zeno, and also about the enemy already revealed in the manga that even made Zeno tremble. That's right, folks. The manga already showed an enemy that made even the great Zeno scared. Hakai. Zeno had an incredible introduction in Dragon Ball Super. He entered the story making the most terrifying characters we knew up until then almost wet themselves. Zeno appeared for the first time right after the tournament of Beerus and Champa. And as soon as he arrived, Beerus and Champa almost crapped themselves out of fear. Up until that moment in the Dragon Ball Super story, the gods of destruction seemed absolutely sovereign. They seemed to do whatever they pleased, and no one in the universes was above them. At that time, we already knew that the angels were more powerful than the gods of destruction, but even the angels are like their servants, practically doing everything they command. So we thought the following: if even the angels, who are stronger, are subordinate to the gods of destruction, then no one scares these guys. But all of that crumbled when Zeno appeared, making Beerus and Champa almost crap their guts out from the sheer fear they felt. And then we discovered the reason for this, which is Zeno's ability to erase anything that exists whenever he wants. If he wishes, Zeno can, in the blink of an eye, erase multiple universes at once. We saw very well how this power works in practice, with him erasing the entire future Trunks timeline and then erasing almost all the universes in the Tournament of Power. So, thinking from this perspective, Zeno is indeed an absolute god without weaknesses, right? Wrong. Zeno does have weaknesses, and actually, there are quite a few. Many of these weaknesses have already been shown to us in Dragon Ball Super through subtle clues that a lot of people missed. But beyond that, there is other information already revealed that many people still don't know, but that has already confirmed a major weakness of Zeno and enemies who can kill him. I'm going to explain all of that now, but before I do, leave a like on the video because it helps us a lot, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. That way, in addition to helping us out, you'll also get a bunch of Dragon Ball content to brighten your day. Well, getting back to talking about Zeno, we've already seen several weaknesses in him in Dragon Ball Super. To start with, the most obvious one of all is that Zeno is extremely simple-minded, not to say completely dumb. Zeno's brain is very limited, like that of a 6-year-old child. He can't understand complex ideas, and he is highly manipulable. The second major weakness we can notice in Zeno is that he doesn't seem to have any martial arts skills. Zeno doesn't seem to know how to fight and doesn't appear to have a strong body. He seems to be very physically fragile, to the point where Daishinkan and those bodyguards are extremely protective of him. Another piece of evidence that Zeno lacks martial skills is that he was easily impressed by some of the feats and transformations of the characters in the Tournament of Power, and he couldn't follow some of the battles with his eyes, needing to slow things down to be able to see. In fact, during the fight between the gods of destruction in the manga, Zeno became very frustrated because he couldn't understand what was happening, and this was the reason the gods didn't participate in the Tournament of Power. Probably Zeno never saw the need to train in martial arts or combat techniques, since he can theoretically erase anyone from existence with a simple gesture. But even so, this is still a weakness, because without this power, he would likely be defenseless. And speaking of this ability to eliminate any being from the 12 universes, there is a debate about whether this is entirely true, as many people theorize that Zeno, in fact, cannot erase angels, since in the Tournament of Power, the angels weren't erased along with the universes. But of course, this isn't proof that Zeno can't erase angels, it's just a hypothesis that has been raised. And these are the main weaknesses of Zeno that we've clearly seen in Dragon Ball Super, especially in the Tournament of Power arc. But beyond these things, we've recently discovered more weaknesses involving the absolute god of the 12 universes that many people don't know about, and I'm going to tell you about them now. Do you know that ability of Zeno that makes him the absolute god? His capacity to erase anyone he wishes. Well, this power also has a major limitation. We found out in one of the chapters of the manga that Zeno simply cannot erase beings that belong to a different realm than his. In other words, any being that isn't from the 12 universes is immune to Zeno's ability to erase everything. Zeno is indeed absolute in his realm, which currently consists of the 12 universes. So in this realm, Zeno's realm, he can erase anything he wants. Zeno has this power because he is the supreme deity of this realm, the highest divine rank. But there are other realms that aren't part of Zeno's realm, meaning the 12 universes. Each of these realms has its own supreme deity, and this supreme ability that Zeno has in his realm doesn't work with things or beings from others. So it's as if Zeno's power to erase anything doesn't exist for anything that comes from these other realms. This means that since Zeno doesn't have combat skills, he is defenseless against anyone who belongs to another realm. And as we know, the 12 universes are currently under threat from the 5 great celestial mages, who are extremely powerful deities whose power, on average, far surpasses that of the gods of destruction. The problem is that the celestial mages aren't gods originating from Zeno's realm, but from the realm of Zarat. Zarat, being the supreme deity of his realm, could erase the celestial mages at will, but Zeno cannot. Well, actually, not even Zarat can erase the celestial mages right now because he kind of doesn't exist for the moment. But if he did exist, he could. As I mentioned before, Zeno doesn't show any combat abilities, and in terms of fighting capacity, he's far below the gods of destruction, for example, since he was really frustrated during the Battle of the Gods in the manga because he couldn't understand their fight. So, if Zeno can't even keep up with the movements of the gods of destruction, he's completely defenseless against the celestial mages. But the difference is that Zeno can erase a god of destruction at any moment, but he can't do that to a celestial mage. In the past, when the supreme deity Zarat invaded his realm to conquer it, Zeno couldn't do anything at all, since his ability to erase things doesn't work against Zarat. And unlike him, it's said that Zarat is a supreme deity with great magical and combat powers. So the other supreme deities had to intervene to help Zeno. One of these deities was Zalama, who gifted Zeno's realm with the Super Dragon Balls. And only with that power was Zarat able to be defeated. Sometime later, the Celestial Mages, servants of Zarat, also invaded Zeno's realm to try to bring their supreme deity back to life. And once again, Zeno couldn't do anything against them, needing the help of the gods and mortals from the 18 universes to handle that situation. Now, with the release of the Celestial Mages, the gods of the 12 universes will need to go all out to try to deal with this threat, and among them is GOKU, who's been training hard to master his powers as a god of destruction and defeat the Celestial Mages. And Zeno, this completely careless supreme deity who never cared about getting stronger and spends his time on silly things, now needs the gods and mortals he once terrorized to save his butt. Ironic, right? But do you think Zeno will still play any relevant role in Dragon Ball Hakai? Do you think by the end of the story he'll at least honor his position as the Supreme God and help in some way? Would you like to see that happen? Comment below because I want to know what you think. If you want to directly support the story of Dragon Ball Hakai, sign up for our Patreon. Starting with a very small amount, you can help with the manga's production and even get some exclusive benefits on the channel. Click on the link in the video description and the pinned comment to learn more. Leave a like on the video if you haven't already, because it really helps the channel. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything from Dragon Ball Hakai and other content from the franchise. Share this video with a friend or someone who's a fan of Dragon Ball. And comment, Goku surpasses Zeno, just so I know who made it to the end of the video. Thanks so much to everyone who stayed until now, and I'll see you in the next video.